Welcome to the BLTnT Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Loria, serving up real stories of business, life, technology, and transformations. You'll hear from interesting people about big changes from career shifts to life-altering decisions and the innovations that help make it all happen. It's about sharing those light bulb moments, pivot points, challenges overcome, and the journeys that inspire us to think differently. If you're on the lookout for insights to propel you forward, stories that resonate, or just a bit of inspiration on your next BLTnT move, you're in the right place. Let's dig in. Well, welcome to our most recent episode of the BLTnT Podcast. I'm Matt Loria, here to host our newest guest, Chuck Edwards. So thanks for being with us, Chuck.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Chuck is kind of the three C's: a counselor, a coach, and a consultant, all wrapped into one. Explains his approach to his work as a hybrid of a private practice of coaching and counseling. And so recently you were at a business leaders event that you spoke at, and it was titled "Don't Believe the Lies," and you talked about how to get a hold of anxious thoughts that have been holding you hostage. And a day doesn't go by that I'm not talking to somebody who's in the business leadership community where anxious or stress or words of some sort of emotion that's going through their body that's probably not the healthiest emotion to be carrying are there. And so I thought, man, wouldn't it be great to have you come on, explain who you are, explain your approach to things, and then also, maybe let us leave with a few tips on what we can do for better living.
Absolutely.
Great. So thanks for being here. Looking forward to getting to know you here. I know that you run a couple of different offices. One in the Rochester area here,
up by Great Lakes Crossing.
Okay, Auburn Hills, Michigan.
North on Baldwin, and then West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, and Maple.
Okay, so two in the Detroit area here.
And then I work nationally, coast to coast, seeing clients, whatever it takes.
Yeah, that was kind of where did Chuck Edwards get on my map was talking to a fella that knew you and said, "Hey, do you know Chuck? Chuck actually hops on airplanes and will do the interventional style coaching, consulting, counseling, like you see on TV, right? I mean, the actual
full addiction interventions is one of the services. Absolutely.
Unbelievable. So, give us kind of the overview. I know you said you dropped out of high school.
Got expelled from high school and dropped out of college 3 times.
Okay.
And then went to rehab. At 20, how old was I? 23 years old. And that's when this passion was first birthed in me. I was put here to help people change their lives for the better. Didn't happen immediately. It was birthed early on in my early 20s. Finally arrived here.
So you're a eat your own dog food sort of guy. You're practicing what you preach. You've been through the drudges yourself, fought the demons, and are here to talk about it and here to teach from it too.
100%. People often ask how I do what I do, which we get more into. I've been there. I get it. I know what it's like for life to be handed. I know what it's like to be in a psych ward. I know what it's like to want to kill yourself. I mean, I know what it's like to get arrested and go to jail. I know what it's like to have to call your dad again, get you out, all that type of stuff. So it gives me that ability just to slide in and do what it takes and have that compassion and understanding for the people that help.
Great. So let's get into it. Sober 25 years.
Yep.
So you've been walking the walk for 25 years of being clean. You told me about some different groups and things. I mean, you telling me about subcultures that I never even knew existed in terms of people living life like that. And where do you want to get started? What do you want to where do you want to go? You want to talk about?
Well, most recently, I don't think I shared this one with you yet. I hopped on a plane and I went to, where in the world did I go? Middle America, middle of nowhere. I flew in.
Call it Oklahoma?
Yeah, basically. Yes. Well, we're in Oklahoma. Flew in and had to get a mentally ill guy out of jail who'd been in there 2.5 months solitary confinement with schizophrenia. I had to befriend him in the jail cell and get him out of there and drive him back to Michigan to get him the care that he needed.
Wow.
So nothing great about me. It's just that when there's a need, I feel you got to act. That's what you were made to do. Unequivocally, I was put on the planet to do what I do. Something like that just works and flows for me. Love it.
Wow.
And by chance, I didn't know this when I took it was a contract job. When I took it, he's at a place up in Holly. I'm in Clarkson now, so now the dude's permanently residing 20 minutes up the road from me. I continue to go see that guy and in that relationship with him.
What goes into a conversation like that? I mean, so first of all, actually, you call it a contract job. So tell me what a contract job is, and then just kind of
Yep.
walk us through what does a discussion look like for this?
So I got my private practice, my own clients, and then companies will contact me, contract work. Hey, do you want to do this? You want to do that? Can you do this? How do we solve this? We're stuck. What do we do? Type. That's where the counseling, coaching, consulting, kind of flipping into more of the all the roles kind of intermingle with each other. But a company called, hey, here's your situation. One thing that I perceived, I don't know if I ever tested or know if it's factual. I think I'm kind of pegged in my industry that Chuck's crazy enough, he'll do it, which is true, and they called, this is a situation. I'm like, let's go. And then they said, we're going to hire security. We don't really know enough details about this. And you got a 10-hour drive in a car with a guy. We don't need security. This is good. That's what I'm meant to do. And we did bring security. That's, how it comes together.
So did you hop on a plane, fly down there, and then rent a car to drive back, or
Yep.
what did you do?
Flew down, slept for the night, went to the jail that morning, did the whole bailing someone out of jail thing, which is the whole kit and caboodle in itself, that process. And they brought us into the jail, went into the cell. Guy was in a two-man cell for three people in it. He slept underneath the bottom bunk on the floor. The guy that I was coming to help.
Okay.
And he didn't. It took me a minute to convince him it was even his day of freedom. Get him to go, type thing.
What are some of the words that you said? I mean, did he even know? Did he have a preface knowing that you're coming?
He had no idea.
Okay.
He thought he was going to die there. He just been there and just was stuck 2.5 months with
2.5 months, and he was in and out of then solitary while he was in there, and
he was in solitary the whole time, 23 hours a day.
Okay.
2.5
and
months.
then ended up with the three guys though, or is that how did that work out?
Yeah, how that happened, I don't know. I just showed up to do what I needed to do. But how did I broach it, or how did I greet the guy? So my brain tells me that most people that are in jail, down and out, severe mental illness, stuff like that, many would say, not me, but those are the dregs of society. Those are the people you avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So what's my MO? The second I see this guy, I'm going to hug him.
Mm.
I literally did a fist bump, kind of to check, and then I went in and did the last thing most people would do to bridge that gap, and cross that bridge, and all right, let's get talking, type thing. I darn near showered the guy. He didn't, whatever I got to do to make it work for the client, to achieve what we need to do to get someone well, I'm going to do it.
And how much time did you get beforehand, information maybe from his parents or from the folks who brought you in from the facilities?
It's funny. I got a call a week prior. Hey, here's something coming up. Maybe it might come together one day. Would you do it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
3 days later, oh, Friday. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? That's the nature of my life, though. Just boom, 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 boom. I've gotten calls at 5:30, heading to the gym, and I'm on the red eye to LA. Walk back in my house, change everything, and I'm gone for 2 weeks.
Mm.
It's going back to, it's what I was put on the planet to do, and it works for me.
So you talk to this guy, you get him out of a jail cell.
Yep.
Clean him up.
Yep.
Walk him out the door.
First,
here's the rental car. We're rolling. Like, just walk through step by step on that, and some of the things that you encountered, right? Where, because I'm assuming he didn't just bro out with you immediately, and then that was it. You're friends for life. There's probably slipping in and back, having to gather trust a couple of different times throughout that whole interaction. Walk us through some of that.
Yeah, continual positive reinforcement. Like, today is your day. You are getting out. We're getting you to the help you need. Getting you the help you need. We're not going to jail. We're not going to another jail. We're not going to another institution. We're going to get you the help you need.
Did he want the help?
At that point, he just wanted out of jail. He
Okay.
didn't really know what he wanted, type thing. And we were probably 5 doors deep into the jail. Got out, got in the car, and then it's like assessment time. Assume the best, be prepared for less than the best type. Don't really know what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
type thing. I sat in the back with the guy, doors locked, the child locks on. I'm in the back, the security guy's driving, and we're going to assess. Chuck's either going to sit back here for 10 hours with this dude, or we're going to determine that we're good to go and don't need to. We wrote it out for about 2 hours, and then we made a stop for food or gas or something. He and I talked right quick and good to go, and I bounced up front. And then just treated the guy like a normal human being. You need to go to the bathroom, let us know if you want to eat. Whatever you need. One of the name of the games in those situations, whatever you need, tell me, I'll get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not hard drugs or something's going to get me in trouble, I'll go buy it for you to keep you happy, content type thing. This dude must have gone through 5 energy drinks.
Oh, really?
On our drive. This thing. I found out he liked pop music, something that isn't my thing, but we listened to pop music for 10 hours. And on that channel on XM, they play the same like 12 songs
Right.
on repeat for 10 hours because it's what this dude was going to help him get there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And was there no way he was hopping on a plane?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had a few of those. That's a thing. Someone is in such rough shape, they either don't want to or they technically can't fly commercial where we get creative. Either driving like this, got in private planes, get someone from A to B, stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So normally we start out with the whole kind of bio of bring me from from birth to where you are today, but we started in with a story. So let's go back and you kind of teased us with a few of the things that give us stories that we want to hear about, right? Of dropped out of high school, got kicked out of high school, dropped out of college a few times. Walk us through some of that and what was going on in your life at the time, and bring us up to present day. So tell us some stories of getting.
So I was a troubled kid, you say, to say the least. 3rd grade on, I was a troublemaker. I was getting in trouble at school, getting suspensions, detentions, failing classes, none of that. And that didn't stop. So they kicked me out a couple months before graduating senior year type thing. In hindsight, side note, if you will, I got 100% on all the standardized testing. Go to Lansing to get awards from the governor, but I'd fail all my school. They didn't have the checks and balances. When would that have been? In the 80s. They do today to catch the kid that learns differently. Or that, I don't know if it's actually smart, but that has a higher IQ or whatnot, that just the normal system doesn't work. Didn't work for me, and I just checked out and never checked back in. Elementary, middle, by the end of middle school, started using drugs and drinking like that. High school, full blown into my addiction, drinking most days at school. We'd get milkshakes, put vodka in there. That was our thing to hide it. Drugs started creeping in, the women, the shopping. It's kind of this whole cyclical thing of do anything I could. Didn't know it at the time, and I know it today. Anything I could just to escape reality, to numb myself by whatever ever means. High school, the legal trouble started to happen, minor in possessions and weed, charges and stuff like that. To finally get kicked out a couple months before graduation. The insanity ensued. Went out to Colorado. Like, well, this, Oakland County isn't having it. My friends are all going away. Found a little mountain college out in Colorado that would accept me. Went out there and just continued. I skied more than 100 days my freshman year. Failed that year, freshman year of college. At that point, I was probably drinking a fifth a night.
Oh, no kidding.
Type thing. I drink a gallon of water plus a day, 1 to 2 gallons of water a day. It started in 95 when I was drinking a fifth a night. I had to drink that much water to live. And I just never stopped drinking. It's where it spurned, where it started. And then freshman.
Did you grow up pretty privileged?
Grew up in Bloomfield.
Okay.
Very, very privileged. Yeah. That's it's interesting you mentioned it. It's something I've been spending time on intentionally on my own wellness type thing. I didn't know struggle like probably most people, I assume, did in life, and didn't understand or know or realize that like struggle and difficulty in life is like normal and okay. Took me a while, like later in life, to get there because I grew up very well. Parents took good care of me.
Do you think you were creating struggle along the way?
100%.
Maybe not knowing why you were doing it.
It's like a therapist question. I'm like, who am I talking to? 100%. So what I was doing,
I keep my doctorate diploma on a different wall here.
I 100% was creating all that turmoil as a young person. My dad was absent, working his butt off. I didn't know that till my mid 30s where he was. I just assumed he was absent. stuck at home with my mother. Young kid needs his dad more than anything. I was a tough kid, made it tough for my mom to deal with me. And this pattern developed. And I discovered this stuff in rehab and therapy. I did therapy for about 5 years of my life, but discovered the cyclical pattern. When I got in trouble, mom would get angry and go to town on me, rightfully so. But I got some attention and some love, awkward way, but I got it.
Mm-hmm.
We'd have our blow up, do something to get in trouble, whether outright trouble, go blow up the credit card, do whatever, fight with mom. Little kid person gets his needs met to have mom's love and attention. Things chill for a minute, repeat. I mean, for a decade.
Wow.
So 100% was subconsciously intentional type thing. Yeah.
You see people doing that in their adult lives and in their work lives and things like that as adults too?
Big time. Especially in like marriage stuff is one example. You know, there's an art and a science and a dance, if you will, to make marriages work. You got the best of circumstances or maybe not the best. And it's recognizing patterns like where am I subconsciously sabotaging communication or whatever it may be with my spouse. And if I can get that awareness that I'm subconsciously doing it to meet some other need that's not getting met, I can undo that mess, arrive at more of a healthy playing field, if you will.
Wow. Okay, so Colorado, doing it up, skiing 100 days a year, failing out of school because of that, because you can't ski and study at the same time, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Okay.
I did that freshman year, came home to Oakland Community College as my punishment. My sophomore year, failed out there. I would just drive to campus and get high in the parking lot and go home. And then was sitting at home, I guess, the summer after what would have been my sophomore year, living in my parents' house in Bloomfield, hanging out in the basement. And I'm like, wait a minute, all my friends are away at school. They're about to bounce. Bloomfield's about to stink really bad again. I need to get out. I didn't tell my parents. I re-enrolled to the same school, Western State College of Colorado.
Okay.
So it's now a university. Got in a probationary status, and a month before school was supposed to start, at the dinner table, mom and dad, my sister was at U of M, being a good kid. Said, hey, guess what? I went to Colorado. Fight, the whole shebang, and I won. We're going to go back. Second dinner's over. My dad pulls me in the home office. He says, son, that was really clever. That was cute what you did in there. Good job.
Just how you work the family over.
He goes, you're not driving your car across country because you don't have a license. So I'd gotten a DUI and didn't have a license. We hadn't broached my mom on that. So I was still driving. So can of worms here. So you talk disease, they talk about the illness runs in the family. So I was the addict, the easy one. But anyone around an addict's ultimately going to have faults themselves, if not be more sick. So I had a DUI, didn't have a license. I was still driving, so we didn't have to break the news until this day. Dad pulled me in. Great, you won that argument. You're not driving your car. I'm not taking your car out. If you want a car, you need to tell your mom you don't have a license. You need to convince her to drive you to Colorado so you have a license. So you have your car. Challenge accepted. Let's go. My mother drove my 1985 Volkswagen Vanagon from Bloomfield Hills to Gunnison, Colorado, so I could have a car, and flew back home.
Wow.
I was a horrible kid. I was a train wreck.
How's your relationship today?
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Years and years of working on me. I did 3.5 months inpatient rehab, a year of the intensive outpatient. I followed exactly what they told me to do. In total, about 5 years of intensive work on me to undo the damage I'd done to myself, a little bit of damage done to me, to now today have a phenomenal relationship with both my parents.
Great.
My dad runs everything except for my client-facing stuff. He handles.
Oh,
That's
excellent.
how close we are there. My mom and I are totally tight.
Great.
Yeah.
So you can just tell them this was all just research and development for the business of today, right?
Yeah. I hadn't heard that. I like that. Yep.
Well, you've got a lot of interesting, I don't know, a style and a philosophy to you, right? It's a little, when I first met you, kind of a little bit hard to peg down. So what was this Chuck guy do? And I learned from the stories, right? From the intervention type of stories. You have a life mantra: do what's right, and the rest will fall into place. Is that
absolutely?
Is that the number one for you?
100%. Even with finances, do what's right, and it'll it'll work.
Because we talked about some of the things that you do, like you don't have contracts with your clients,
Right.
and you feel like that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You price on a sliding scale based on what the person can afford typically.
Yep.
Very customizable.
Yep.
So talk about doing the right thing, especially from a guy who's learned how to do, you were rewarded and did the wrong thing a lot of times, but learning that the straight and narrow is the better path. Talk about that.
My brain immediately goes to faith walk. So early on in getting sober, became a person of faith. And that's been a big guiding, not big, the guiding post or whatever, my true north, if you will, doing what's right. Something else that you learn in recovery, the 12-step programs, they teach you, you work the 12 steps right. Only a couple maintenance things got to do the rest of your life, one of which is live an absolutely honest life 110%, or else you're susceptible to relapse. And other than that being easy, if you live open and honest, you don't got to cover your lies type thing. Just makes sense to me. I didn't want to. So I've been.
It's got to be tempting though, because I mean, everybody that I've ever encountered in my life that's had addiction problems is the best liar, the best salesperson. I mean, and there was even a show on TV. They showed, I can't remember what it was on, Netflix or HBO or something like that. The guys that ran the police officer scam thing where they're calling asking for money. The majority of those people were current addicts that were selling because they just knew how to work people.
Yep. That side of me is still there. I have to intentionally not let it be present. Case in point, like my wife, like I used to be in sales, so I got that prowess, if you will. Now I get people to do stuff they don't want to do for a living.
Like walk out of jails and jump into cars for 10 hours.
With my wife to not be the master manipulator at home. I have to just shut it, be like a normal human for that to work well.
What about just in your work life? How do you balance that there? Let's say you walk up to you have a client is in terrible need, right?
Yep.
And you could probably, with your addict brain and master manipulation, you could probably talk them right out of their wallet if you needed to or wanted to.
It's the conscious. I don't want to have any of that gnawing feeling. No, I didn't do something right. It's just simple for me. Probably more hours of my life than not are what could be compromising situations. Close rooms with people, traveling with people. I'm a cash business, whatever we got going on there. I get credit cards. I have clients give me allowances, different stuff, allowances for helping them. A lot of ways I could go shady with it type thing. It's just not who I am and not something. Going back to what we mentioned a little bit ago, do the right thing and it just works out. Do the right thing. Something goes south with a client and every once in a while it just happens. All right, great. You know what? Here's all your money back. We'll talk. We'll find resolve. And then you know what? I didn't deliver. Here you go.
That's great.
I don't care what amount it is.
That's great. You also, one of the things we talked about was the meeting people where they are on their journey. So especially dealing with people with anxiety, depression, suicide, drugs, whatever it might be. And you could give us some stories here. You talk about going to the places with people. So obviously on an intervention, we all understand what that means. You got to go get the person out of their current situation, get them into some sort of form of rehab. We've all seen the TV show, so we get that. And they may or may not know that they've hit bottom, but their family's saying, "Hey, it's time. You're getting cut off. Otherwise, you got to do this." This 24/7 access and also the non-traditional nature of the work that you're doing. We talked about the person who can't get on an airplane or the person who can't go into the building or the person who can't leave their room or whatever. Most therapists are either meeting somebody via telehealth or in an office setting. You told me that you actually will go right there with them. So if they're stuck in their bedroom, you'll go sit in their bedroom with them, try to get them to come to the kitchen. If you can get them out of the kitchen, you might get them to the front porch. Get them to the front porch, you might get them to walk down the street. get them to go down to the store, you know, and then keep
Yep.
building upon it. Before you know it, they're traveling the world again.
Yep.
Talk to us about that and how that's different with what you're doing and why that works, and maybe how we can also relate it to
Yep.
business and life in other ways. This episode of the BLTnT Podcast is sponsored by Auxiom, business IT and cybersecurity designed to outsmart chaos. Empowered by Juniper Networks. Automate your network with Juniper Networks and the Mist AI platform, the world's first AI-driven wired and wireless network.
So typically I kind of walk through an example of like new client or new case coming my way. I get a call from whomever, either the direct, family or the person themselves for a contract job. Here's the details. Here's what's going on. Then I got a snapshot, and then I come up with a plan. What are we going to do here? And just like you're saying, I don't shy away from just going and doing whatever it takes to affect change in someone's life, to achieve whatever there is they're looking to achieve. Going to them, bedrooms, hopping on planes, it doesn't matter, just whatever it's going to take. There was a client out in, I don't know where it was, somewhere south of here, Metro Detroit, young person in their 20s. Parents were terrified of them. There's different stuff going on. And parents were apprehensive for me to meet with them. I'm like, I'm doing what I was put on this planet to do. I'm not afraid of your son, whatever we got going on. And we scheduled meetings a couple times. They canceled, I think, out of their own fear more than anything. Finally, I get there. Oh, where is he? Oh, he's all up in his room. We haven't seen him in 28 hours. Great. Do you care if I go to his room? Just literally walked up, knocked on the door. Hey, dude, good to meet you. I'm Chuck. Another person that wouldn't be the most shined upon people in society, one of those. Immediately, boom, bring it in. Big old hug. Just the last thing he expected, the absolute last thing mom and dad expected, but it just bridges that gap, meeting people where they are, often in their worst moments of struggle.
So where's that guy today?
He is, so that came about probably a month ago, and we're actually, what is today? Thursday. I will actually be getting an update later today.
Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. So today there's a pivotal meeting he's having right now. We're going to place him in some long-term care, 2 different places. And he's doing those meetings today to decide where we're going to get him probably by the weekend.
Great.
Type thing. Yeah. And this is a guy that'll probably need some kind of lifelong support at some level.
Great.
Type thing. Yeah.
And do you stay involved with him at this point?
I do.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I like to, it doesn't matter what I like, it's what they need. It organically happens that I end up staying in touch with almost everybody. I could probably everyone I work with. If it's the client themselves, in touch with them. Often there'll be family roped in or some kind of other work I'm doing with other people. I get to meet family, stay in touch with them. If it's a real young person, I get updates from the parents for years. If somebody, I'm big on if someone crosses my mind, I just think there's more than just crossing your mind. And I messaged a client that I first met, I don't know, 8 years ago. Hadn't talked to her in probably a year. I messaged her earlier this week. Hey, how's life going? And to my shock, amazing. And I'm starting to think about marriage.
Wow.
Just and I met this girl. She was curled up in a ball, ready to kill herself. And it's amazing.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that was the 29-year-old fighting demons now planning to get engaged. Is that who that was?
Bingo.
Huh. So what's some of the employee type of group work that you do, or employee one-on-one type of stuff? Like talk about business owner ever call you up and say, hey, I need some help with people?
Yeah. Kind of from a couple different fronts. The compassionate business owner, of whom we know some in common that I'm speaking of. The compassionate business owner that wants to help employees that really just need to be terminated, type thing. Struggling employees. Chuck, come in, do whatever you got to do, send me a bill, and see if we can't help this person somehow, some way. And then we typically, with business, you sometimes have to get creative. An owner or a manager can't say, go get therapy or go see someone.
Mm-hmm.
So cleverly tee it up appropriately, honestly, above board. And then I go and do my thing on that front with a truly struggling employee who should just probably be terminated, but they're going to try something. On the flip side, we've got a key employee that we don't want to lose, that we absolutely want here. Something is suddenly off. Or we're giving him promotion, say to management team. He's been great for 30 years. Step into a management meeting, he's a bumbling idiot. Chuck, we can't figure it out. What's going on? Tee it up. We're going to make it work. Player's going to pay. Start engaging and figuring out what is in the way. One example on that, figured out that this guy, the example I gave, 30 years he was fine. He went into the management team. Now he's a bumbling idiot. Turns out he had nuclear family trauma stuff from his dad that just had some wonky mindsets and some confidence issues and stuff like that from childhood going on. We identified that. We worked through that. The dude's off and soaring and crushing it in management.
So all of a sudden he realized, I'm manager, but I've got some stuff in my head that's telling me I'm not good enough for that particular role.
Exactly.
I was great as an individual contributor.
But I'm not as smart as the other guys in this room. I haven't been here. I'm not I don't have the title, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we cleaned that up and he was off and running.
I think we've probably had 10 episodes where imposter syndrome comes up here and it's a major, it's a major thing that goes on with people everywhere.
Yep.
Right. Is that they think I'm not good enough.
Yep.
And does most of that stuff relate back to something in childhood?
Most often, whether it's family, often mom or dad, usually not intentionally. I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. Just the way they are, where their kid just didn't imprint a positive, helpful message, if to put them out into life with, and or some other kind of more traumatic thing, where maybe it's bullying, or a one-off incident that just gave someone a totally skewed, outlook on life or bent or narrative when they're young. And then it starts to interrupt their life when they're older.
And in traditional therapy, though, I mean, what I've always found remarkable about the stories that you've shared with me is that there's an expedience to what you do, and kind of a solution mindedness where it's like, hey, we're going from A to B. A is where you are, B is better than where you are, and we're gonna celebrate that, and really you continue to try to work your way out of a job. Where I've seen in traditional therapy, people can go to that same therapist week after week for those 50 minutes or whatever it is, saying the same complaints, complaining about the same parent, complaining about the same sibling or spouse or significant other, and nothing ever changes.
Yep.
What's different with what you do and how action-oriented it is?
I'll try to take you through an example. So get a new client, whatever situation is, 1 to 3 meetings is what it'll take for me to get the full scoop. Usually it's 1 meeting.
Okay.
On that note, I don't meet for 50 minutes. I meet for as long as it takes. I usually block 3 hours off of my calendar. I might go sit with someone, and after 30 minutes, we're like, "Oh, you're occupied with work. Like, why don't you go do work and we'll connect again?" Or we might go full 3 hours. What I have found is usually at that hour mark is when stuff gets good. So I just kind of leave it open and let organic, healing start to occur, if you will. So new client, new case, gather the intel, usually 1 meeting, and then I will go back from that. I take copious notes, and then I will brainstorm, soak it in, process it, and then I come up with a treatment plan for the individual. My treatment plans are very intentional. What do I lay out? The presenting struggle, the solutions, facts, which is what Chuck's take, or facts, which is what I believe about said individual, because usually they think crap about themselves. And so I come in and bullet with the facts. And then what's our plan of attack? And I break it down. Here's what I believe is we should do immediately. And here's all the other stuff identified that we need to get to at some point. And I tee up the verbiage and my delivery back to the client of empowering them from the get-go. So I come up with my takeaway, and it's kind of fun. I give it to them. I go, take your time and read this. Let me know how I did. And most people just blown away. For the first time somebody gets me, and we only spent 55 minutes together. How did you get me? Let's put on the planet to do this. So it just kind of works for me. I give them the treatment plan, And then the empowering part, what do you want to do? I know what to do. But if I tell you what to do, I'm kind of like everyone else out there, or teachers or parents or whomever. Here's what we need to do. How are we going to work this thing in a way that works for you and your schedule and your life? Are we doing it here? Are we doing it in Harbor Springs? Like stuff like that. And keep defaulting back to, this is your life, your world. I'm going to get you there, but help me get you there in a way that works for you. Starting from there. And then because I've put it out on paper, I don't know if played my cards is the right word, but I've laid out what I'm seeing, and then it gives me, as well as them, the accountability or metrics to circle back to. Where are we on this thing? We decided that we're going to tackle these 3 things first. Not happening. Do we need to pull one of these out and shift something? Just totally organic.
It's great. It's I'll be funny here for a second. Is you remind me of Dr. Leo Marvin. Your baby steps approach.
Well,
but it's really you made your steps, not baby steps. Meaning like it's a stepped approach, but you keep going back to the person and saying, you're almost checking in and asking, what do you have the capacity to do at this point in time, right? As opposed to saying, hey, you're on step 1. I need you to be at step 5 by Wednesday. Well, if the person says I can get to step 1.5 by tomorrow, and then you're celebrating it with them instead of saying, gosh, it would have been nice if you got to 4 or 5. So I think yours is, your steps, your speed, and meeting the person. That's what I feel is kind of more unique here.
100%. And one of the things I do is I'm immediately looking for what are some immediate wins we can make happen.
Yeah, that like 1 to 1.5, right? I mean, if that's our win, we're going to be good with that.
Yeah. So people you come to, depending on what you got. Suppose you just got childhood trauma, you've blown up your own life, you've been through divorce, second marriage, you got a mess. That's a mountain. All right, I get it. What can I do to affect some real quick change to give you some bravado, some confidence, and start building upon the little things to get to the bigger?
That's great. I also like the fact that you spend this inordinate amount of time getting to know the person. We worked with a marketing company who helped us with some of the work that we do here at our company, and they put us through what they called an immersion exercise. And they had a number of people in the room, multi-hour, lots of sticky notes everywhere, and a lot of it is you're discovering a lot of stuff for yourself, but they're learning in that confined space. And I felt like that approach was so much stronger, because if you do an hour, right? If we do an hour together, then you go off on your day and I go off on my day, and then we try to reconvene then next Wednesday for an hour. We've had a lot of life happen in between, a lot of things that we've forgotten. In that continuity, it's almost like the first half hour is rebuilding from the previous hour. So you're never really getting, true continuity throughout. Even on television shows, they show a recap, right? And so, we're human. We can't remember everything. And so I like the immersion that you do with the client. And I feel like that must be really impactful for you to
Super
get to know
impactful.
them.
And I even go a step further than that. Oftentimes it'll occur to me, there's other people in this person's life that could give me a lot of intel that will help me affect change for you the fastest.
Sure.
Hey, what do you say? What do you think about me meeting with your wife for now?
Yeah.
What do you think about me talking to your kids? What do you think about me talking to your employer? Whoever, more intel, the better to affect change the fastest.
Yeah. I've always felt like, people who go to a therapist to talk about another person, what good is that ever doing unless the other person is a part of the conversation? Right. Because you're only going to hear one side of the story. You're going to start to team up with that person. And how do you really affect change? And maybe the majority of therapy is not there to affect change. I mean, is that a possibility? Is there a design behind it? A design flaw, maybe even?
Don't know.
Oh, come on. I thought for sure you're going to say, yeah, those suckers can't do it. Only I can.
That is my sentiment.
Okay.
I struggle. I don't have exactly what you're saying. Affect change in someone's life in 50, 55-minute buckets once a week. That doesn't work for me. So yeah, the system's broken, in my opinion.
Did somebody come along the way with you though? I mean, I know you feel like you've got a lot of divine intervention coming into you that's helping you, but a lot of something along the way had to have someone or something had to affect you along the way. Who or what was that?
Yeah. It was actually a gal named Susan Webster and her mom, Sandy Champ. They
Okay.
lived in Bloomfield, Telegraph and Maple. Back in my addiction years in the 90s, I was unemployable, so I started doing landscaping, self-employed gig, and showed up to their house. I don't even know how I got the nod from them, but I did. Showed up one day for another landscape bid, and Susan opened the door. This smoking hot blonde. I mean, I'm in my late teens. She's
Okay.
some point in her 20s. And whoa, okay, I can do whatever this woman needs. Ironically, at the same time, she looked at me. This guy is so sick. I'm going to save his life. I was like years later, we figured this, like, literally that's how it happened.
Wow.
So, and she played the card well. She knew where my brain was, and she used that to the nth degree. Became my number one client. Susan and then Sandy, her mom, happened to be a retired psychologist.
Okay.
So they knew what they were doing with
Okay.
this dude. I didn't know. I just was, there's a hot blonde, I'll do whatever she wants. Started doing tons of work at their house. And then I hadn't thought of this till right now. Susan came alongside me in my profession and taught me everything about horticulture. All the plants, all the fertilizers, all the pruning, all the transplanting, everything to the nth degree you could possibly learn. Then she steered me to go get my Michigan Master Gardener certification, which is a big to do in that world, in the horticulture world. So she put time and energy into me to help me get better, met me where I was in a sense. I worked for them for some years until my life fell out. They never intervened. They never pointed out my problems. Never. They put up with me and loved me to the nth degree, even though I pooped on them more than I did anything. Became very close. I started watching the house for them, their dogs. I would see them in Florida. I would move cars, different stuff, a lot of stuff with them. They were just loving me, but they were intentionally loving me. And then when my life imploded, what was it? Late 90s, I got a speeding ticket in Detroit. I was in such rough shape towards the end of my addiction. They told me, Chuck, you don't go to this court date. You can't handle it. I'm like, it's the law. You got to go. Like, yeah. And I didn't listen. Went to the court date in Detroit. I got stuck in traffic, missed my court date. And on whichever freeway it was in downtown, I had a mental breakdown. Instantaneously in that traffic jam, I snapped. I was going to kill someone or kill myself or both. Get my way back up to their house. They're like, yeah, Chuck, I told you shouldn't go. I'm like, forget that. I need to go to psych ward because I'm not right. I'm going to kill someone or kill myself. And they knew what psych ward meant. I didn't. They still try to talk me out of that. Just stay here. We'll take care of you. We'll get you through this. You'll be all right. Chuck, you don't want a psych ward. No, I need that psych ward thing. I'm not right. I need to be put away. I need to be out of society type thing. My family's home during that same conversation, packing for like a 10-day trip to California, family trip. I'm over at Susan and Sandy's house, losing my stuff. Family's home, wondering where I am type thing. And long story short, I wouldn't give up on the psych ward. And so they finally got a hold of my dad and said, hey, we're taking him up to St. Joe psych ward. What do you mean? We're going to California tomorrow. So, well, we tried, but he wants to go.
Change your plans, Dad.
Yeah. And he met us there and whatnot, did the whole psych ward thing. And then the second I walked through that 6th floor St. Joe Hospital in Pontiac, Michigan, and I heard that door lock behind me, it all clicked. Oh, that's what Susan and Sandy were talking about. Chuck doesn't like being locked up. This is the worst thing ever. Instantaneously, my brain pulled out of that depressive, homicidal, suicidal place I was. I've never gone back there again. I don't think I ever will from that one experience. They were dead on right. And I got to work really quick finding out about the AMA, Leaving Against Medical Advice, did the whole spoiled Bloomfield brat kid thing to get out of there. But those were the people that loved me and poured life into me to get me where I am today. After the psych ward, they helped my father understand I needed help. Sandy went to bat, broke out DSM-4s and different diagnostic stuff to help my business-minded dad understand that his son was dying from addiction. And then finally they did the handoff. My dad flew me down to rehab in Florida.
And that was where the the real cleansing happened was in rehab in Florida then at that
Yep.
point?
Yeah.
But you needed that breakthrough time with those folks that poured into you, huh?
They saved my life. Unequivocally.
Hmm.
They 100% saved my life. And they, the most selfless, loving, caring, like God-send people I've ever come across.
Hmm.
No reason to help. For some reason they picked me. I
That's
was the one
great.
to help.
And what was rehab like?
Rehab was nuts. I know a lot more about rehab today than I did then at 23 going. What in hindsight, what I found out is I went to rehab in 2000, and that was when they were, I guess, pioneering today's modern day rehab experience. Pioneering meaning they were just screwing around and throwing everything at patients or clients to see what would stick, what they could do ethically, how far we could push someone before they literally died and didn't just break, stuff like that. I was in rehab at that time. Thank God, saved my life. I think rehab is way too soft today. Way too soft. I had health, recovery, everything beat into me with a whole bunch of psychological manipulation, crazy, even questionable stuff. But it worked and I love it type thing. Examples would be anything they could just to shake you up. Put your watch on the other arm. I carry a water bottle wherever I go. Oh, Chuck, that's your security. Give us your water bottle. You can't have that. Every Sunday night was the McNally rally. Michael McNally, very prominent, well-known therapist down in Florida. McNally rally meant all 60 of us inpatient clients, patients, wherever we are, had to go into a big room, sit on the perimeter in a chair, and Mike would show up and the meeting was undetermined amount of time, and he would come in and just start singling us out and yelling at us and screaming at us, setting up fights between patients and stuff for some therapeutic benefit to get us all riled up and all this kind of jazz. If you missed the bus, you had to walk like 5 miles from the residence to the treatment center. If you got in trouble, you got a therapeutic discharge. You were kicked out Friday afternoon, no wallet. I don't think there even were phones then. No wallet, no ID, nothing. Go survive for 3 days and then come back on Monday and prove to us why we're going to let you back in. On and on. And that was the stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. Saved my butt. I wouldn't want it any other way. Yeah, it was insane.
That's intense.
Yeah.
So what could you teach the average CEO, business leader based on the things that you learned in rehab?
I've been hearing a lot lately about the knock. When an employee knocks on your office door and says, "Got a minute?" and you immediately know it's some sort of IT incident. But Auxiom IT can help. Whether you're having a problem, need consulting, an upgrade, or a managed IT approach, they focus on preventing cyber attacks and proactive solutions that deliver results. My friend Matt Loria and everyone at Auxiom are ready to help before or after you get the knock. Visit Auxiom.com and let Auxiom IT help you outsmart chaos.
Powerlessness and acceptance comes to mind. Neither of those things resonate. So, if you accept any of those, you're going to be the employee. What from rehab is going to help the business owner? I like acceptance. I think that's great on many levels. A lot of the work I do with people, a lot of my personal MO, what I do or make myself do, is accepting life on life's terms or accepting things to be exactly the way they're supposed to be in this moment. When a person can arrive at that acceptance, when a business owner can accept whatever is going on with employee, the company, the business, the whatnot, realizing we can only do what we can do, and when we have done our part, it's a matter of accepting where things are at. That allows us to find a lot of peace, a lot of calm. And if we got peace and calm, that brain oftentimes is going to slow down and give us better ability or clarity by which to do what I'm supposed to be doing, managing my company.
That's really funny that you say that. I have a laminated sheet that we had a business trainer, you might want to call her, in that she talks about this book that was written by James Fisher that talks about various stages of organizations, and starts off at stage 1, which is a a pure startup, 0 to 5 or 0 to 10 employees, and then goes up to kind of what a mid-market organization would be, which is like 170 to 500 people. Okay. So stages 1 through 7 with different gradients in between there. And I have that laminated in my briefcase at all times, and I pull it out probably twice a week, because what she shows is that in every category there, in whatever phase you're in, and we've got about 50, 51 people that work here. So we're in phase 4, and it shows you all the problems that are the most common problems for a company this size. And it's like, okay, we have those. This is normal. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. Shows you the problems, obviously, for the stages prior, and it says, okay, you got to make sure you're clearing out all those, because otherwise you'll continue to slide back and forth and won't really move forward.
Yep.
But that's my reminder, right? Is exactly where I should be. Now, am I perfect? By God, no. I mean, my level of acceptance is not where it needs to be. But things like that, tricks like that, tools like that are one of the things that helps me. So I'm glad you used the word acceptance and exactly where you're supposed to be, because we need those reminders consistently.
Yep. And I like what you shared. It's something I do in business with people I'm working with. After I get the data dump, I hear all their demons and everything going on. Almost always, either way, I deliver what I'm about to tell you. I let them know that they're aligned. Their struggle is explainable by outside circumstances. Their calamity of life totally makes sense because of all these outside forces.
Mm-hmm.
You are aligned. You're aligned to a place you don't want to be, but thank God you're aligned. We just need to pivot your alignment to somewhere you do want to be.
Mm.
As where if you got money in the bank, couldn't be more happily married, your kids love you and all this stuff, and your life's imploding, you don't align. That's a real problem.
Mm.
That's typically the psychiatric permanency, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So I do let people, boom, sorry your life stinks, say it much more lovingly than that. The good news is you're aligned. You make perfect sense to me. Because you make sense, we can fix it.
That's great.
Yeah.
How does that align? So the attribution error, right? The attribution error is the psychological phenomenon that says, when I see you do something stupid, I attribute it to you being stupid. When I do something stupid, I attribute it to outside circumstances. Is there a malalignment there where you're having to remind them that, hey, again, you're not stupid? Because when somebody falls into that self-judging, negative talk, that's one of the places you're pulling them out of, right?
100% something I got to remind people of a lot. Often, by the time you get to someone like me or other professional in this sphere, the person will often have a bunch of, errant mindsets or errant thought patterns or lying thought patterns or mindsets or whatnot that's usually developed earlier on in life. And those mindsets left unchecked, brought into adulthood that has you sitting in front of me, you're not thinking right about yourself, or you're not making right decisions, or so on and so forth. I got to remind you, hey, that's your dad doing this.
Mm.
Remember what your dad did when your guys dynamic young? That stupid thing you just did is directly because of him. I'm going to give you a pass, give you several passes. Eventually I'll be like, dude, come on. We talked about that a year ago. Why?
Right.
Type thing. But reminding them, because if I'm screwing up in life, I suck, I'm bad, I'm thinking it out of myself. Oh, dude, it's not you. It's what your dad did to you.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on fixing what dad did. You're not dumb.
Yeah.
You're a result of what happened to you.
I like the that you called out too, that the parents don't necessarily, they're not necessarily doing anything on purpose per se. I mean, obviously there's some that are bad people, I'm sure. But for me, we have older kids and younger kids, and I always apologize to the older kids, and I say, boy, the younger kids got a way more refined version, of me than you got. You were the practice kids, man. You got the bad dad. As far as when I'm judging myself on my parenting, and not everybody gets to go through and have two sets of kids and practice twice and get better at it. So I think that it's great that you give on the average, you give the parents the pass of they didn't do it on purpose, right? Your dad didn't work extra hard to screw you up. Right. He thought he was doing the right thing.
He put me in Bloomfield with a pool.
Right.
He could have picked anywhere in America.
Exactly. Yeah.
Didn't make sense till I was 35, but yeah. On that same note, like with the parents or whatnot, I will often, I know I'm saying two different things here, but it'll make sense. I will often, so if I identified it's parent wounds or whatnot's going on, I will often throw the parents under the bus in a sense. In the same breath, though, I'm bringing them back from under the bus to let said person I'm working with know this isn't your fault
Correct.
type thing. But then I'm also bringing the parents back. Guess what? We don't get a playbook.
Mm-hmm.
I've met your parents or I talked to your parents on the phone. They're not evil. They did the best they could. You have a right to be angry. We'll deal with that and get that processed. But they did, but they didn't type thing. And that can bring a lot of healing to people just to start to have that very simple awareness.
Sure. Another thing that you taught me about, which I had no idea. We talked about subcultures kind of earlier when we were first sitting down, and I said, Chuck, you told me that music is such a big part of your life, and I'm like, isn't that like saying, I'm sober, but beer is a big part of my life? I mean, it's almost like I love hanging out in bars, but I don't drink. It seems a little dangerous. So, explain to folks what that looks like for you and the community that exists around sober living and and music.
Yep. So when I got sober, I grabbed a AA has you get a sponsor, someone that helps you figure out how to do the sober life. And my sponsor, Joe Lewis, down in Florida, he was pretty laid back.
Did you pick him because of his name? It's a cool name.
I don't know if I ever thought of that till right this second, actually. That was 25 years ago. So why I picked him, they teach you. So I was a 23-year-old kid, sponsor, look for someone that has what you want. The dude lived in Boca. He had a boat and a hot wife. I said, you be my sponsor, dude. You got that's what I want. So that's why I met him. He was pretty laid back. His one hard rule was no places, no establishments with alcohol for 1 year. Music. Maybe I just should have died. Like, what are you kidding me? How do you do this? I wanted to live, wanted life to get better. I listened to him. I didn't see music for a year. I think the 366th day, I think I was at music with rules. There's safe ways to do it when you're newly in recovery.
And music too, music festival type of stuff, or
concerts, cover bands at bars, all the above.
Okay,
whatever.
You love it all.
Love it all to the nth degree. In fact, I'm flying to Nashville in a end of this month to go see 3 nights of music down there. Same bands, yeah. It's my thing. Moved back up to Michigan a couple years sober, and down in Florida, I would do music. I would bring my sponsor or someone else in the program and just make it safe that way. Moved back here and I went to a recovery meeting down in Royal Oak. I met a guy named Michael Steinberg. He's an attorney. His name in the music world is Mike O, but he's a professional, he is an attorney. And he turned me on to what I call today rock and roll recovery. It's not only me, it's that term. It's not an official thing, but we call it rock and roll recovery. The jam band scene, starting with Grateful Dead in the 60s, and then Fish, Widespread Panic, Humphreys, McGee's, the whole jam scene today, Billy Strings and Green Sky, on and on and on. They've developed a sober following that's attached to the band, more or less. In the 60s, Deadheads, they couldn't do any more LSD or whatever they were doing, needed a break. They formed a recovery group called the Wharf Rats. And it was Deadheads that didn't want to leave tour or stop going to music, but wanted to be sober and have support of other people. And the Wharf Rats recovery group was formed. Now, all those bands since then, and more happening like by the week, are getting their own sober following, which I've been a part of since 2003. Anything that comes to the Midwest or Michigan or that I can get to, if I'm traveling, happen to be somewhere, I will help. The concerts have a table at them in the lobby of the venue or somewhere in the venue that's manned by 2 people that's part of the sober organization for that band. And you're there to not tell other concert goers what to do, but to be there to support those that are looking to do concerts drug and alcohol free. And then at the set break, we have a real quick meeting. People huddle up, just like an A meeting, do a little bit of share. We pass a balloon.
It's a yellow balloon, right?
Yellow balloon.
Okay.
Yellow balloon.
Now, is that's the color?
That's the symbol for the rock and roll recovery crowd.
Okay.
So all the tables have yellow balloons, and then often you'll go into the show, and we get a helium one in there. Actually, some crazy person will just hold one in the show on the floor, wherever it is. You see the yellow balloon. That's where the sober people are hanging.
Oh, funny.
It's really cool.
So will we all not we can't unsee that now?
That.
Like once we go to Pine Knob or wherever we go, music venue, we're gonna see the yellow balloon now.
Yep. You'll notice it now. And what's incredible is I travel a ton for work, this, that, or the other. I've gone to music either planned or on the fly, coast to coast across America. and I've got other sober people there. I don't need it today, but it's great to know that they're there and I can be there for other people. I'll go hang at the table, whatever. It's just the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then locally, the scene, the local jam cover scene in Metro Detroit, even all the partiers now know I'm a part of that. And it's like they wouldn't let me touch anything even if I wanted to. It's not a thing for me anymore, but like literally, I was standing in line with a guy getting into somewhere downtown a few weeks ago, and I wore an alcohol wristband. I know this guy only in music. His name's Steve. Chuck, you don't drink. What do you need a band for? Sometimes I like to buy other people drinks, and it's really awkward when I don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, thanks, dude.
Looking out.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. I always ask people, what are you reading right now? Podcasts you're listening to or watching, or people you're talking to. What are you inputting into your brain lately that's helping to shape your recent thoughts, your recent feelings?
Most recently, I have jumped both feet into the breathing and meditation thing. I have known of it. We've all known of it. I've avoided it, laughed at it, if I'm honest, for years. Meditation meant take a nap to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it pushed to me for many, many years. And this wasn't my thing. And then someone recommended a book called 10% Happier by Dan Harris. Not someone, a therapist named Kevin Rem, a buddy of mine. 10% Happier by Dan Harris.
Mm-hmm.
You know the book?
Mm-hmm.
So the quick
and the app too, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Quick little backstory to the book. He had Dan Harris had a panic attack live on the air.
Yeah, he was a news anchor or something, right?
Yep. Yeah. Like the ultimate horrific moment for an anxiety sufferer.
Mm-hmm.
The book, I assume I listened to it. I assumed it was his voice. I'm going to believe it's his voice forever. Just love the way that the audio book was done. I actually listened to it driving back and forth to Nashville. And started applying the techniques and stuff. Two big takeaways from it. So the breathing and meditation I'll get back to, but the 10% better was a huge help for me, solidifying and confirming what I do professionally and then for my own life. You come to me with a mountain of problems, that's a lot to move.
Mm-hmm. Let's
just find something.
Yep.
Let's start building a little bit of traction. Your dad trauma. If we can do a bunch of other stuff, by the time we get you into trauma work, you're gonna like yourself. You're gonna love yourself. It's gonna flow, type thing. So that notion solidified, at least according to Dan, on the right track there. Just find something, and the rest start.
Well, I think too that when you're here, right? Someone once explained to me when I was going through some stuff, is they said, let's say here's normal and here's exceptional. You're down here, right? You're subnormal, right? And you're looking at the mountain that you have to climb to get out of it, and it seems damn near impossible, right? And so they'll say to you, the person said to me, I'll have the faith for you. I know you can't see it right now. I'll have the faith that you're here. All I need you to do is just do the one step at a time. And the 10% happier does make it the concept of it to be, okay, I can get 10% better, right? I can't get 100% better, right? I mean, you could never believe, when you're in those places that you could be 100% better. And what a great, eat the elephant one bite at a time type of mentality.
100%. And on to your original question, the breath work and the meditation, in practicing, doing the stuff that book says, and I've expounded my search outside of that, and how to breathe, how to meditate, stuff like that. I'm go, 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 go. I presume you're kind of the same type thing. Just always on the fly. Just sitting and chilling isn't my thing. Not from an anxiety standpoint. I don't know, be ADD, like none of that sort of thing going on. I just go for whatever reason. So the idea of stopping, calming myself, breathing, meditating, doing that, it's just so foreign, uncomfortable. And who has time for this? The book calls that out like over and over again. All the excuses. Saying he blows his BS, as he uses that repeatedly, blowing the excuses out of the water. As I started taking breaks to intentionally breathe for a minute or 5 or however long I've got type thing, using certain breathing techniques and bringing myself to that place of calm, brain slows down. I started noticing a few benefits that got me into it more and more and more, where it's a regular practice of life. Mental clarity, reason with my thoughts or with life or what's on the agenda or my tasks or stuff going on, when I get to that place of calm, if you will, in that meditative state, it's almost as if I have like a whiteboard or virtual whiteboard. It's like, here's all of life. Here's business, here's marriage, here's kids, here's family, all this stuff. And I've just calmed down slow enough where I can like, all right, move that there. That makes sense there. Okay, this perceived source of stress, now that I can think about it, really isn't stress at all. Things like that. And it just gives me that space, I guess, to realign stuff or reassess things in a good way. Always leave feeling better after doing it, type thing. I find, I don't really test, but parlaying into sleep, the fact that I've intentionally bringing myself to a place of calm or rest or chill throughout my day. It's end of the day and rest time. I know how to get to a place of chill and rest and get myself to sleep. I also find one of the things I'm lately a lot on the breath. I read the Bible a lot in my faith practices. Bible talks a lot about breath. I've recently, the past few weeks, maybe a month, incorporating breath into like frustrating moments or what could be a frustrating moment of life. Okay, so and so did this, or kid did that, or wife did that, or I got this email, like whatever it may be, and it's one of those. Just gonna push away from my desk. I'm just gonna breathe. I might even do a breathe on something intentionally. Either breathe something apart, breathe life, whatever it may be. 30 seconds, a minute of that just rearranges everything for me of that, whatever the frustrating thing was.
That's great.
Just, yeah.
And so I one thing I will say is, you mentioned faith, but then you also meditation and breathing. I've heard a lot of people that are conflicted with that. That one is not compatible with the other.
Some of my closest friends would argue it to the nth degree. Meditation, the yoga, all that is no bueno. Christians should never do it, said the other. I'm not seeing that stick. So yeah, if I go,
me neither. By the way, so
if I go to yoga and I'm focusing on Buddha, yeah, that's probably a contrast with my faith beliefs. I can go to yoga and think about Jesus, or think about nothing, or
right.
Choose whatever you want to do while you're there.
It seems like a strange argument to me, really. I
It
mean,
is.
I guess I understand where they're drawing parallels of like, oh, it sucks you into some different type of world or whatever, but it doesn't jive for me there. So
Bible says that his people, say Christians or whatnot, are supposed to be literally everywhere in everything to some degree. Even the dregs of society, even the dark places. Someone's called to be there. Yoga ain't gonna kill us, in my opinion.
All right, good. What's the next 5 years look like for you in your practice? Would you say?
That's a good one. Starting actually an intentional marketing effort for the first time ever. Adrian Keogh over Fulcrum Digital is helping me launch some very intentional marketing starting in Oakland County. Anxiety solutions would be one. So I've never marketed. It's all been direct referral, but that's a new one for me there. We also are in the beginning stages of digitizing what I do on the anxiety solutions front, coming up with like not like with a package, some kind of electronic offer for it that could sell globally 24/7, thing like that. That's got drip offerings to have me be part of it to whatever level type thing there. Those are the two main going right now. 5 years. So 5 years from now, I'm 48, so I'll be 53. I'll be good working as much as I do. I don't mind working. That's why 5 years there.
Great. So a little bit of scalability, leveraging digital
Yep.
is the real point, which I think is smart, especially if you're going to continue to leave your mark and really, grow the effects that you have in the world. So I think that's fantastic. With regard to your solutions around anxiety, I think what we'll make sure that we do is we'll share in our podcast a link to the video that you did.
Okay.
Regarding the how to get a hold of anxious thoughts and that have been holding you hostage.
Yep.
Because I think that was about an hour talk that you did.
Don't remember. Felt
So-
like a lifetime.
Yeah.
But yeah,
About an hour talk
whatever it
that we'll put the link here so people can kind of see
awesome.
some of your work in action and get different ways to contact you. So anything else you want to share with everybody and before we part?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chuck.
Yep.